Unfortunately, we're not able to get a body cam. That's what we really want as journalists in this perspective, because body cams stay on the vest. And so when he goes to reach for the gun at the end of this video, that's when our view drops out and we just see the car. If we could have seen the vest, of course, we'd be able to get a more clearer perspective on exactly what this officer saw when he made that decision to shoot. Unfortunately, ICE does not have a mandatory policy on body cameras. They had a pilot program that started under the Biden administration, and right now no more than 20% of ICE officers on the streets actually have body cameras, and even if they do, they're not required to turn them on. So what we have is this, but as Tom points out, I mean, it does give us more of an idea into the interaction between these two parties. Now, the woman you see who's speaking to the officer the most, who's out of her car with the camera, I believe, and I don't think we're going out on a limb too far here, I do believe that is the wife of Renee Good, because it's so that people who are protesting them don't follow them from location to location, and they can do their jobs more covertly and presumably with more safety. And so she's saying, we're not changing our life. Officers are trained. They're told also never to come at a car from the front. And you can see he walks around the car several times. Things seem to escalate right as he's at the corner of the car. So again, what we would want is a body cam footage to be able to see if that corner was aimed near him. Again, what Tom said, the expletive too, I think is really going to come out and be a big piece of this conversation. And we're bleeping this out because we're on broadcast news, but it actually shows, and it may not have come from the officer who actually fired the shots, but one of the officers nearby. It's definitely a man's voice. We've heard it. And when they're saying effing B, that is coming out of the mouths of these officers as this shot was fired. Now, we know this is an FBI investigation. We know state investigators are not allowed to look into this, so they wouldn't even be reviewing this video or drawing any of their own conclusions. They're not even allowed to interview witnesses, even though the governor would like that. But these are all the things that would normally go into an investigation, not just from the feds, but also internally within ICE to see if there was any breach of conduct here. But at this point, we don't even know that they're doing an internal investigation into this officer, or if he was even placed on any kind of administrative leave, which is protocol after that. So what this video does, though, is it's the first time we've gotten this much closer to the perspective of that officer as he chose to fire those shots. And again, it may still serve as a Rorschach test, because protesters who are on the streets of Minneapolis are going to hear those words. They're probably going to hear the version of this video that is not bleeped out. And they might say that this is a woman smiling in her car who looks cooperative. And then you have an angry ICE officer. But you may have people on the other side who say he was so close to her car when she began to accelerate. So it's another piece of this very complicated picture.
A very important piece, actually, Julia, and you're right in pointing out that there's no requirement for ICE agents to wear body cameras. So this is really the closest and most key piece of video we get from that perspective that we haven't seen yet. The body camera would have been a wide angle. It would have been horizontal. It would have shown the moment that the shots were fired. But given this and the training, I've heard from multiple sources, and Tom, you can speak to this too, multiple sources in law enforcement who say they are not supposed to go in front of a vehicle, and also not supposed to reach into a vehicle. You know, what is your sense there of how ICE agents are trained? And in a scenario like this,